were able to go to a professional game, and it was really cool to see just how popular baseball is here. Like, the stands were packed and everybody was really into the game, and it kind of showed me how great of an opportunity Full Count has to go to something that is super popular and then bring the gospel into it. Because some of the people may not be open to the gospel at all, but if you tie it in with baseball and merge those together and bring it to them, then their heart might be softened to it, might be open to it. So that was really cool to see. So on Sunday we played Ritmo of Chinandega, and it was a really good game. It went 10 innings, and Trevor, one of our guys, ended up throwing all 10 innings and threw really, really good. But in the end, Ritmo ended up winning. After the games, we had a few guys share their testimonies. And then 2 of their guys ended up sharing their testimonies. And it was really impactful because that team was full of believers, full of just the joy that you get from God. And you could see it in the way that they played baseball, the way they interacted with each other. So it was really cool to see them really wanting each other and us to know the gospel and know their stories.
We played Full Count's staff member, Mario's Honduras team. He traveled a long way to play, and very grateful for that.
Nick, big day at the plate yesterday. How are we feeling day 2?
Good. We'll see if the success from day 1 will carry over.
We shared testimonies and presented the gospel to them.
Y esto es un reflejo, ese amor que ellos tienen es un reflejo del amor que Dios nos tiene a cada uno de nosotros.
We believe in Proverbs 16:9 that says that man makes his plans, but it's the Lord who directs his steps. And we had a team from another city that we were supposed to play, and they canceled on us at the last minute. One of our guys who's really been growing in his faith and taking on a position of leadership is named Juan Soto. And they had asked him to be a manager of a team called Los Polleros. So knowing the change, we called Juan Soto to see if we could play him. And they got some guys together, but they fell short of a number of players because of work and school and things like that. So Soto called a few other guys that come to our training facility and have played with Ritmo, or guys that we know. And so we played them that day just to give Soto a really good pat on the back for what he's doing to share the gospel. And at the last minute, he made a phone call to a guy named Nixon Navas, a guy who wasn't supposed to be there playing with a team we weren't even supposed to play. And after that game, because of someone's testimony on the team who came down, Nixon stepped forward and gave his life to Christ.
On Wednesday, we played La Gracia, which is supposed to be a team that Eric Gomez is starting meeting with them with Bible study. And only a few guys showed up. But those guys that did show up, we were able to share the gospel with and see where Eric's going, taking that team and starting Bible study with them and hopefully getting a good team going there with that.
Here in Chinandega on mission trips, we have a tradition that every Thursday, the teams that have been playing against each other come together and we have a draft, or we have 2 guys from the States pick teams. 2 teams formed of guys from America and from Nicaragua, and even some guys from Honduras this year. And to see those guys out there after spending a week together that don't speak the same language, but do speak the same language of baseball and do speak the same language of love of the Lord, to come together and laugh, cut up with each other on the bases, to see guys from America who've gotten to know each other all week, giving each other a hard time when somebody strikes out or when they hit a home run or whatever happens. Just a really good way where we culminate a trip of brotherhood between guys from across the world who love the Lord and love baseball, all in one goal.
1, 2, 3, look out!
one, it was beautiful. It's one of those places that you're at that you're just kind of in awe the whole time, thinking about God's creation.
And we had the opportunity to not just spend time together on the beach with a great sunset, but to get in the Pacific Ocean and baptize brothers in a water that touches every continent, the ocean water that touches every continent across this world. And for me, it's just a symbol of just what we're trying to do through the game of baseball, that every baseball player have an opportunity to hear the gospel, respond, and grow in that faith. I hope it's just a glimpse of what our ministry can do with the power of the Lord to reach every continent as well through the game of baseball, making disciples.
All those guys had heard the gospel many times, but it just took that one more time after playing for it to hit, or that one more time at the beach while somebody's sharing about the gospel for it to really hit home. So never give up on the people that are around you, because you never know when they'll turn to God.
Oh man, that was awesome. I've never seen anybody get baptized in the Pacific before, and that was pretty cool. And it was, even though the waves were trying to knock people over and everybody's cameras were getting wet, it was really emotional, and it brought everybody close together for sure.
Yeah, it means a lot getting to connect with all the guys down here, especially coming down here for I want to say 3 years, 4 years. Getting close with them, connecting. It's one of my favorite parts about coming on these trips, getting to joke around with them on and off the field. It's one of the best things ever.
Oh yeah, most of those guys they were just real fun to be around. Even if you didn't understand what you were doing or what they were doing, you could both laugh and smile.
These guys in Chinandega joke around a lot, so it's fun to smile with them, laugh, and cut up with them, and enjoy just being around other believers, even though there's a language barrier, you still joke and have fun.
Yeah, I definitely think the relationships made down here make a really good connection about helping share the gospel, because you get to get close with them, and eventually they start being more open and vulnerable with you, and then you can start taking it more seriously from somebody that they trust and know really good.
Going to the bodega was really cool, because hearing all their testimonies, each one of them was like, no matter how much I've learned baseball, what's most important is that here's where I kind of had a relationship with God and met Him.
Bodega's awesome. Like, me being a missionary and not saying anything like that before, seeing like real fruit of there's a facility that is just dedicated to using baseball to spread the gospel. As a missionary, that's just the coolest thing to see. And just seeing those guys breaking down, talking about how the bodega has changed their lives and giving them a safe haven, that is the coolest thing.
So every morning we would get up at 7 and do a quiet time over a chapter in John.
It's one of I believe the best way to start your day. You're putting Him at the forefront of your day and setting your things on, Him throughout the day.
This was the first week I've actually woke up every morning to be able to do it. It was so much better when I opened up and read our lesson every morning and dug in.
And then later that night, after the day of playing baseball and doing everything else, we would meet and talk about that chapter for a couple hours. And it was really impactful for me, because I can only learn and know so much on my own.
I think one of the things that stuck out to me was when we were talking about John 4, and one of the questions asked if the Samaritan woman was a missionary. And I looked up the definition of missionary, and it said anybody on mission. And I think that's something that we as Christians should look. We're all missionaries no matter where we're at. We're on a mission to share the gospel with everybody.
But then to be in discussion with people who were more knowledgeable, or were a lot older and had a lot of wisdom from God, was really impactful, just for them to pass it on to me.
Even though most of the people already all knew each other and I was kind of the new guy, I feel like it was really easy to open up, considering it was only 10 guys, and I'm usually in a group of 20.
I think God speaks through each person, so to not have one person just up there preaching and teaching was really good, because I could really see God speaking through each individual person differently, and when that comes together, it makes something really special.
Just about every guy has the same struggles, so that was also a way that we were all able to kind of connect with each other, is that we were all going through the same stuff. I'm not really surrounded by people like I am here, trying to find a group of believers that I can really set myself into, and we can like just replicate what we have here.
I mean, it was amazing. It's really great when we have such a small group, and it can feel so much more personal, and you could hear every one of them singing.
Man, that was actually probably, honestly, life-changing. I've never heard people worship in Spanish like that. And they really lay it all out, like it's a little taste of heaven. Because, as you know, there'll be people in all languages there. It became real to me how big God is. Because I feel like sometimes at home, obviously walking out this Christian faith, it kind of can become like, we just get caught up in kind of that, our quiet time, our time with the Lord, coming to a whole nother country and seeing this same God I worship in the United States at work here in a whole nother language is just eye-opening to me, and it becomes real here.
This trip was a little different from all the rest, and it's a special one that I'll never forget. As it closes out my family's time here in Nicaragua as missionaries. But what a blessing to see so many guys that God has raised up here in Chinandega. Guys like Reeder, guys like Soto, who are taking positions of leadership here to lead the charge of the gospel going forward in this country. It's amazing to see guys come down here and just unify and to show that Full Count is not one place in America or one place in Nicaragua, but that's something that can go beyond every border, that the gospel can be taken to every baseball field across the world. And to see that happen through our work here in Chinandega and the culmination of this trip is just a blessing that God has allowed us to see. And I thank everyone who has supported our family here in Nicaragua and supported these guys that come into this facility and the guys who will come into this facility and will come to know Jesus through this ministry here in Chinandega.
Bueno, los dos más ciegos.